Hi there, welcome to Sunnyside Journals. I'm Catherine. I have a flip through today of a journal I recently finished, and if you've been following along on the magazine challenge with Nancy from Wishes and Weeds and you've probably been watching this little journal evolve and come about. If you haven't, I'll explain to you what I did. Maybe you'll want to go back and look at some of the videos that I did. Nancy and I were chatting one day, and we thought it would be a fun personal challenge to choose a book to become a journal and choose a magazine and only have the magazine to create our decorative paper things and ephemera that would go into this journal. Just that one magazine, so that it becomes a challenge to create an entire junk journal only using one magazine. So this was the book I chose, Aucassin and Nicolette and Other Romances. It was a book published in 1951. It's not that old. It's a very pretty book. This is the magazine I chose, Woman's Journal. This is from March 1949. And so any ephemera that you see in here, journaling tags, decoration down the sides of the pages and that, anything you see in here, and papers, came from this magazine. I created it using paper from this magazine. We still allowed ourselves to put pages in. We allowed ourselves to use fabric and lace and ribbons and that. But normally, when you're creating a junk journal, and you might, say you want a bird, and you'll go to your fussy cut bird stash that you've got. Most junk journal creators do that. Or, I need something else. Or you think, oh, I want to put a ticket in here. You have to use whatever's in the magazine. So let's take a look, since this is still a regular flip through of a journal I've created. It's 5 inches by 7 1/4 inches, and it's about it's about 7/8 of an inch thick. It has 5 signatures in it, and it has 156 pages in it, both sides, and they're varying sizes. So, and you'll see that when we start going into it. This book, wasn't in too bad a shape. It was in a little bit of rough shape. I had to rebuild the spine from the inside out, which is fine. Usually that happens. It had a clear wrapper on it that left red marks on it, and I wanted to cover those red marks. So these gold stripes that you'll see across the top and bottom and along the spine, up and down there, and then on the back, bottom and top, I put that on with gilding wax to cover up the red they weren't even nice red lines, because it was left over from pressure from this marking stuff that was on this clear thing. But I knew that this could still be a pretty book, and that I knew I was going to figure out a way to make this pretty. And I think she came out lovely. I think she's a very elegant book. I've been calling her Nicolette, and you'll see why when I get her opened up. I think she's a very simple, classy, elegant book. She's quite different than other books I've made. There's a bit of tea-dyed paper in here, but not a lot. But as with other journals I've created, everything in here is from repurposed sources, except for the few leaves that needed some washi tape to strengthen the fold, and this little bundle of goodies, which will be going home with her. This bulldog clip is new. So otherwise, everything in here is from repurposed sources. The magazine, the pages from other books, the papers, even the nice looking new papers, I find them at thrift stores. I will find empty journals and pull them apart and use leaves out of those empty blank books. So you're gonna see a wide variety of things. There's quite a bit of pink paper in there. Again, I found it thrifting, and it has made for a very pretty book. I put navy blue permanent ribbon closure on it to match the blue here, and there's also blue on the spine. So you'll see a bit of that throughout. When you open it up and look inside, there's this just lovely young lady on the inside cover. She's who I've been calling Nicolette. And I just think she is just lovely. And because of her and the back page, this journal seemed to take on a pink and green and blue kind of theme, which is unusual for me, but I was really limited to the number of color pages that were in this magazine. Because it was 1949, it only had about 8 color pages. The rest was all black and white. But I think I did a good job spreading it out, sharing the color, and creating a really, really pretty journal. What I've done here is I've cut out a copy of the cover of the magazine that was actually in it so that you could subscribe to next month's magazine. So that was going to be April of 1949's cover. And I just thought maybe I'll put that on the cover of this so that you'll have an idea sort of what the actual magazine looked like that Nicolette's interior came from. And I also cut this off of the cover. That was the price on the original front cover. Here, I'll show you where I cut that off. I liked it. So it was right up here. Here it has the date, but here is where I took the price off, and I think that turned out really cute. And you'll see that this here lists the publication date for the book. So that way you know the date of the book and the date of the magazine. So here's an incident where I created a tag and I created a pocket out of pages from the magazine. This is the original contents page for that magazine. So again, you can see here, March 1949. And then I made a journal with a very well-tailored young lady on the cover. And I made the article was about choice in fashion. So I thought that was nice to make use of that and to bring in a bit of color into the book. And I used some more of that page just to create this little color bit right up there. And then there's a navy ribbon on it. So here's the pink papers you're going to see throughout the book. I just did a pretty little punched edge along it. Here's a page from a Scottish music book that I have. And because this book was originally a book about romance stories, I thought these two looked rather in love. So that's how they ended up in Nicolette. And Highland Mary, I just thought, well, a story about a young lady. So this page has some stenciling on it. It's tea-dyed. And then there's 2 little off-size ones, which adds really nice variety and fun. This is a page out of one of my old bullet journals. More pink paper. There's a nice spread. Lots of journaling space in this book. I didn't take up the whole thing, but I did do quite a bit. I must confess I had a lot of fun. Here's the other side of the Scottish music. And then on this side, I made a tuck spot. There's a little bit of lace on it. That's another thing you'll notice. I created this book with no sewing this time, which is unusual for me. And you know what? Maybe this will encourage anyone who's out there thinking, oh, I can't make junk journals. I don't have a sewing machine or I don't know how to sew. You can make a beautiful journal without sewing. You can just use your glue. I loved this. It was in the magazine, and I thought this pretty well says what creating junk journals from junk really is. And it's a journaling card. It just tucks in there. Here is another inside page from out of the original text block. There's one leaf in every signature. I loved this from the magazine because it also stated the date, and I just thought it was pretty. So what I did was I used some tissue paper to cover up the print on the page so that it's now a journaling page. And you can do that in the rest of the book. If you want more journaling space in this book, simply glue down some tissue or other paper and you've created yourself a journaling page. You're going to see this repetition throughout the book. There was 2 pages, 2 sort of half pages of it. It was a spread. It was a romance story in the magazine. And I made use of all that blue and pink and green. It was my only way to find more color and get it in here. On this side, again, this is from that page on choices in fashion. I thought those ladies looked lovely. And then what I did here was I borrowed one of the cards. I initially had said that I was going to send along 3, where's the other one? It's here. Oh, there it is. It's right there. 3 tags that I created from pages out of the original text block. And then I couldn't resist one. So I used one to create a tag here. And there's journaling space on the back. So it shows you what you can do with your tag when you get this home if you want to keep going. Again, just lovely. The artwork in this book is so pretty. This was from an advertisement for soap, for face soap. This was from, I found this at a thrift store. I think they are printable menus, say if you're having a dinner party and you wanted to be able to print out what the meal was going to be, or maybe a wedding reception or such. Some more stenciling. This flips out for more room. More bullet journal paper. This is from a gardening diary that I have, and this is it's tea dyed, and then there's just a little smaller insert here of tea dyed paper. Again, a little detail of some lace, and it's just glued down using Fabri-Tac, so you don't have to sew. And that also flips out for more journaling space. I loved this ad. I just loved how carefree and sweet she looked, like a young lady like Nicolette. And it was an ad out of the magazine. This lady was also an ad out of the magazine for cold cream, I believe it was. And this chapter was called The Lay of the Little Bird. And I only had 3 birds to choose from that were in the illustrations of this magazine. There were some seagulls, there was a pelican, and there was this cute little budgie. And I just thought, okay, well, there's my little bird. And so in she went. And I think she turned out really nice. I love this page. On this side, again, a tuck spot from, I had 2 blue pages with these very fashionable ladies on it. I created a journaling tag. When I cut out, I'm not even sure what I cut out. What happened was on the other side of that page, I had cut into a portrait of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. And actually, she was Princess Elizabeth in 49. So what you see here is what was left of that I could save from the picture of Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip. So her roses and her fur stole. And so that's Princess Elizabeth's hand there and her dress. I just thought it was pretty, and it was a way of bringing in color again. A little bit of stenciling there into the tuck spot. This is tea-dyed paper using a lace overlay made by Nancy from Wishes and Weeds. Here's a bookmark I created. This is a, I know it's silly, it makes me giggle, a Tampax ad. But I figure, you know what? A sassy young lady like Nicolette, she's not going to let anything slow her down when she's wandering through France, having a wonderful time. Page from a guest book. See what I mean? Lots and lots of journaling space. Here's another little tuck spot. I loved him whispering in her ear. And then I created a tag to journal on the back, and it was from Virginia Brazier's Loveliness for the foundation of figure loveliness, wear a Virginia Brazier. And I just imagined her thinking to herself, Chad doesn't even know that I'm wearing a Virginia Brazier. More stenciling, just here and there to help with the color situation. I wanted to really do my best to stick to my personal challenge of just using that magazine for me. This is a page out of an old German church book, and I just loved the font on it. And so you'll notice we allowed ourselves a few neutral pages, black and white pages, just to break up any monotony. This is from an advertisement for shoes out of the magazine, and then I just love her. A little bit of lace on there, the bellhop bringing her flowers, and she's ready to go out for a wonderful evening. I loved this ad for Kempt hairspray. So I spread it out over two. So there's the bottle of Kempt hairspray, and that was actually in the ad, the angle of the spray, and then you can see how once the spray is on, her hair has beautiful sheen and shine. And again, this trim throughout. Page from a you know what? I wonder if I've got it in here. I will write in the years of the pages. I believe this is 1949 as well for the shorthand. And you know what? Maybe Nicolette, when she's not on vacation somewhere wonderful, she has a job in an office. This was out of the magazine. Not very many word snippets were quite usable. I usually like my word snippets to be cheeky, but I thought that was pretty with the little ballerina there. And then here's another advertisement for pancake makeup. And I made some use of the rest of that page, adding color in. This is a page from a encyclopedia. I made this pocket out of pattern paper that I fortified and sort of made it look glassine with Mod Podge. And of course, it's not a Sunnyside journal without a Two Nanas. So there's the Two Nanas bookmark, and it has its own little pocket, and you can see them smiling out at you. Here's a tuck spot created also from that blue page with the choices in fashion. And as ever, when I can from these old magazines, I love including a laxative ad. And I imagine maybe that's Nicolette's mother saying, now take care, dear. Be prepared for anything. So that just fits back there. And then on this page, this is the other side of her. So that actually is her foot and the little dog who has been affectionately renamed Aucassin. And the final use of the biggest piece of that paper that I could get to make another end paper here. Now, going home with the journal, I have put together the leftovers. So there is a little bit left. That's how much is left of the pages with the pink and green and blue. There's a little bit left from Nicolette's page where I made the front end papers. There's her other foot. And you can actually, if you wanted to, similar to what I did here with that foot, you could run this one off the edge of the page. and just make it look like, oh boy, she's off again, going around Europe and enjoying her wonderful travels. Here's some pages out of the original text block that I'll send along so that you can have fun with it. This actually, I found this later going through the pages, is a poem explaining who Nicolette and Aucassin were. And then there were a few more chapters that I thought had interesting titles. So they'll be going along with Nicolette when she goes to her new home, because this will be listed within about, I think within about an hour or an hour and a half. I'll write it down below when I know closer to the time that I will list this in my Etsy shop. So you could go over there if you like and take a look and see if Nicolette is maybe a journal you would like. Let me show you here because I didn't show you earlier. She does have a hidden hollow back spine, a little bit of lace detailing at the top and at the bottom. I just love the navy blue. I think it just looks like a nicely tailored journal. I'm so happy with how Nicolette turned out. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this flip through, and I hope if you followed along that you enjoyed seeing how Nicolette came to be. You'll notice that there were a few things not in here that I thought I was going to put in. They just didn't seem to go along with the spirit of how this book evolved, because there was a couple of like little children things, and she just seemed like such a modern young woman, independent, and she just didn't seem like she had settled down yet. So the little children things didn't seem to fit into it as to what I saw, the sort of the story of this journal evolving. So they went out, and a few more of the bookmarks that went in with elegant ladies in beautiful evening wear and traveling wear and high-heeled shoes and hairspray and makeup and all those wonderful things went in. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this flip through. Check down below for a closer time to when Nicolette will be available in my Etsy shop. And you can go over and take a look and see. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.